David Shapiro, a man on the spot. Nice to have you in the studio as always, David. I see Mondi is the biggest loser on the JSE today. We know why. It was because it split off Impact. But even so, if you take Mondi together with Impact, the shares were down about 4% in aggregate, losing R2 from where they closed on Friday.
I've got no explanation for that, because I would have thought that they would have at least traded at the level at which they were, trading on Friday. So you're right. Mondi Limited, the local Mondi lost more than the actual share was listed. Yeah,
It's supposed to be unlocking value. That was the whole idea of
Alec, it's a mystery as to why people would have sold it down so sharply. But maybe it'll correct tomorrow. There might have been some excessive trading.
Perhaps also it's a smaller company now, so big investors thinking, well, I'd rather stick with the bigger counters. Dave Mustek had a trading update, very positive. Remember, David Can wanted to delist the company. Well, it seems as that has been blocked, but by technicalities, as he put it, because of the New Companies Act. But certainly the trading update showing a 30% gain in their profits for the most recent
now
year.
we know why they wanted to delist. I think that profits are starting to improve and are starting to pick up. Obviously, more spending on IT equipment and so on. I also think they'd come from a pretty low base. So Alec, generally we're going to see some good results coming out, I think, over the next 6 months of companies, and certainly even on the overseas market. We're going into earnings season now, and the outlook for the next quarter in the US is for profits to be up in the certainly in double digit numbers, but closer to 13 to 15%. So I think that hopefully is going to give our market some support.
The US does seem to be getting its act together a little more quickly than Europe. There's lots of concerns in Europe, David. Wherever you're watching the international television stations today or reading on the internet, the action's now shifting to Italy, and that looks like being the next one that's going to need a bailout.
Well, they've got a problem. This is not created out of nothing. I think all those nations have got competitive problems, over-borrowed, and certainly, it points to action to be taken. In the US, admittedly, jobs are not being created, but companies are improving productivity. They are spending on capital equipment and doing pretty well, expanding well into emerging markets. But I can't say we're not without troubles in this market. With us in the market today, with the problems in Europe, you would have seen the rand, I think, depreciated almost 2%. So although we were down only 0.5%, I think a lot of support was given by a weakening rand.
We're down 2% against the pound and 2.5% against the US dollar. Just some of the major movers on the market today. Anglo American dropped 2%, Naspers also 2%, Investec 2%. Impala Platinum almost the same as well. Anything to read into those?
I think the only thing in Impala Plats, I think there is a bit of pressure over over strikes, over the wage action, and how this is going to impact on profitability and production going forward. So I think some of the local miners under a bit of pressure because of that.
Gold shares did best. Harmony up just over 1%. Goldfields almost 1% there. And SAB Miller, I suppose, benefiting from the weaker rand. That was nearly 1%.
Yeah, in fact, that's one area. If you look at the top shares, British American Tobacco, SAB Miller, MTN, Bidvest, all those shares were actually up. Lewis, another company, strong. Their dividend, they go ex-dividend. In other words, you still qualify for the dividend at the moment. That was very strong. Pockets full of shares. And I think it's the one sector this year that has held up far better than the others.
Discovery Invest gives you a reason to always look up, even on the downside.